Yo, boys. What's up? Oh my god, I am exhausted after that BO5, but I'm also excited because I've been looking to this series. The others are coming in a few minutes, so while they come, I'm just here to chat you up. And yeah, get us ready mostly. But yeah, hi Rahul. Man, I was so annoyed when the weather went ham on Sunday because I was ready. Everything was ready. And everyone came on time. On Sunday, everyone came on time. It was perfect. Like people had started texting me at 7 p.m., But my freaking internet, like, hi Mrinal. No, I'm not coming to Comic Con Delhi. This month is too messy. So I'm doing CSGO now. I might be doing another event later into the week. And then I have my partner leaving, so gonna spend time there. I'll see you at the next event for sure. I'm sure I'll be sick. I've never been to a Comic Con. I've always wanted to go to a Comic Con. Okay, so unfortunately, Kremer is having a couple of net issues. He is coming ASAP, and Sparrow is coming in about 5 to 10 minutes. Fixers will join us in probably like 20 minutes, and yeah, we'll get. Oh, hey, yo, that's Kremer. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay, deal with this camera for a second. This. There we go. I think I was just trying to connect in. Episode 1, it's 2, right? No, it's 1. I never got to do episode 1. Hi, Kush. What's up, guys? Ajo, ajo, ajo. Okay. I'm sure we'll connect in just about a second. I think by the time Sparrow comes, he's perpetually connecting. Okay. Kremer the Knight is going to come on phone data. Bless him for that. I feel the pain of bad freaking internet because of random issues. But yeah. So what's up? You tell me till then. Let me introduce you to the series. So Esports 101 is something I've wanted to do for a long time. Casters, just because I'm a caster, it's easy to get us started. But in the long term, I'd want to do owners, head of esports, content heads, graphic designers, streamers, everything. Any profession that exists within the industry of esports, we will cover. And the idea of covering it will be more so like I'll try to explain what the profession is like, how you get in, how you get
Well, that
good.
worked.
Yo!
Hello, hello.
Hello.
So, we've got a few options. Option number one is we just join on my phone here. I'll go outside and hope that my audio quality is all right. Or
Okay.
option two is we try and connect with USB tethering, which I won't lie, doesn't look very promising.
Yeah, no. It doesn't always work out great, USB that string. So I think this is fine, like, whatever you're on right now, because your audio is pretty clear, and we're here
Oh,
to
really?
talk.
Right, splendid.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, splendid. Right, I'm gonna quickly mute, quickly go outside, and get some private, and then, pardon
Okay.
me, I'll talk on my phone then.
Sounds good.
Splendid. Yeah, back in a jiffy.
Sparrow's here as well. What's up, Sparrow? Can you hear me?
Hello, I'm audible. Hi guys,
Yes,
what's
you are
up?
audible.
Sorry, I was sleeping.
No worries, no worries.
Just a second, someone's at the door.
Confident. And it does. Esports 101. In case, oh yeah, what is esports? Wait, that's a very good question. We'll ask our guest as soon as we start. What is going on with your coaching scene? Any updates? Which team are you with? Are you in any team joining? If yes, by when will we know? I'm trialing with a few teams. No Indian teams. And usually trials don't exist in Indian teams, to be honest. But yeah, I am trialing with a few teams. It's honestly like, unlike most trials, I'm not necessarily hunting for a coaching job. If there is a good team that I like, I'll take it. Otherwise, I plan to just stay in my freelance role. I don't want to commit to a team that doesn't have the same goals I do, because I really, really, really want to win. Yeah. So ideally, we'll find a team that has the same goals. APAC region, some in APAC, some outside APAC. We'll see. We'll see. No leaks.
Some
here.
outside APAC. See ya.
Oh.
What have you been doing?
Well, you know what I've been doing. At least not in detail, but in terms of long term. But I think, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Casting essential.
This is a leak-free zone.
Yeah. But yeah. I think Sparrow's just about coming in here in a minute.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Lovely.
Hey guys. Is
Hey,
Fixes
Sparrow.
coming? Hi, Krem. How are you?
Nah, I'm alright, mate. It's fucking cold in the UK, but that's cold is good. You like cold?
Believe me, when I say that, it's like freaking hot out here.
Yeah. I think.
How hot is it?
Where
How
are
hot
you,
is it?
Sparrow? Are you in
Let me
Mumbai?
check. Yeah, I'm in Mumbai, bro.
Probably like 30, 35, right?
It's pretty hot for Krem.
I mean, yeah.
It's 30,
I
yeah.
think for Kremer, it'll probably be like 10, 15. Yeah. That's.
It's a bit closer. It's about 5 degrees here in the UK.
Oh,
at the moment,
wow.
Which is like cold but comfy. Like this is nice weather.
Just 5 times here. 30.
Is it?
Oh, Jesus. Man.
6
I
times
still
actually.
can't believe. I still can't believe at the GXR land someone stole my sweat towel.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I had a sweat towel at the GXR land, which I brought from the hotel because because it was so hot, at least for what I was used to, I was constantly wiping my sweat off with this towel. Someone fucking stole it. Someone took it. I don't know where it went.
Yo, you might get cloned.
Yeah,
Someone took your DNA.
Gonna get cloned.
You'll see a tall guy coming out from the shadows and it'll be like, wait, are you my brother? And they'll just be you.
Yeah, does that make him? I guess it would make it my. If it's a clone, is it a stepbrother? Half brother?
Well, in terms of biology, I think it's your brother. Because it's the same DNA.
Just brother.
Well, I would say it's basically you.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Are you your own brother?
Just to me. Can he be your own brother? I guess you do. Do Siamese twins count as brothers to each other?
Yeah. But those are
In that
two
case, yeah, that'd be
separate identities, though. They have different DNA.
Hmm.
I think so. I'm not sure, actually. Either way.
Well, if you meet yourself, you would love him, though.
That's true.
Or you'd be like, no, only one of me is
Maybe.
allowed to exist. You're like, no, you're not allowed to exist.
Well, I'm not limited edition anymore, so.
Yeah, true. The exclusivity is gone.
Yeah, well, what makes you isn't your biology; it's your experiences. So long as the other version of me doesn't also become a caster, at which point I'm fucked, I think it could be alright.
Well, I would love for him to be a
Wait,
billionaire.
if I was to be cloned though, it would be a version of me that speaks Hindi as well.
Wow, so there'd be an Indian version of you?
That's actually who does all my Hindi tweets, by the way. It is an actual clone.
Mhm.
We will find your source one day, though. It's too immaculate Hindi for it to be surely, right? It's too immaculate for it to be Google Translate. It's so immaculate I couldn't write it that well.
It's not Google Translate. I'll tell you how
it can't be Google Translate.
It also can't be pinned on one person because it's many people.
Oh wow, Kremer's got a group of writers.
Like, I had a group of guys at the LAN who all just translated everything for me. It was fucking brilliant.
Wow, that's amazing. But okay, I think Fixes is gonna be slightly late. Unfortunately, his employers called him in for a meeting, so no dice. Oh wait, let me. There we go. we can kick us off. A really nice question, actually, to kick us off that I didn't consider at all is, what the fuck is esports? Easiest way for me to say is like when you compete over video games, but is there a more nuanced explanation, do you guys think? What is esports?
I guess you could
Shall I?
you just do it by you could do it by definition, couldn't you? So it's just
Yeah.
all sports that take part in what would be a base video game.
Okay.
Yeah, all sports that happens over the internet, it seems, or the cloud, maybe.
So
Electronic sports.
I recently read about the Olympics esports week happening
Yeah.
next year, is it, right? And a lot of the games, I don't know if I would call them esports, but they're the way you described it. They're sports in video game format, which are going to be competed over, like rowing video game, or I don't know, maybe there's basketball. I'm not sure which games, but yeah.
I mean, so they wanted that to happen, to be honest. They wanted the real sport to be converted
Yeah.
into esports, and then they played that sport instead of freaking video games. They wanted that only.
Yeah, so is that
I think
esports?
it's yes, but it's a place to start. Bearing in mind, games like CS, they're not going to be able to be transferred straight into into like Olympics because you have terrorists versus
Terrorists.
counter-terrorists. Even though it does get abbreviated to CTs and Ts, anyone who does the research is just going to say, what does it mean? And it goes to shit from there. Same for especially countries that have stricter, like really stricter display laws. For instance, I know that there are some countries which don't allow you to broadcast if you have like tattoos showing and stuff. So if you've got games based around guns, you're going to lose the countries competing just off the bat. So any mainstream stuff, at least any mainstream for us, is going to take a good couple of years before it even gets considered properly. So using stuff like FIFA or NBA, games like that, it's a nice benchmark to like test the theory.
That's fair, because
Well, even
FPS obviously.
Taken is there.
Yeah, but Tekken
Yeah,
is
exactly.
fighting, no? And Tekken
It's almost like MMA. That's a real sport as well, so that's why
exactly.
it's allowed.
I'm actually worried about one bigger issue with Tekken though. Like, how does Saudi Arabia play with Nina? Have you guys seen the way Nina looks in Tekken? Like, there's certain affiliations that characters have that may or may not be agreeable to countries. Does that now become an issue?
I wonder about that. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think that's an issue right now in
The
this day and
same-
age.
It's the same with
It
weaponry,
could be.
obviously on another level,
Yeah.
but weaponry,
Yeah.
violence, same issues where obviously some countries will say, yeah, our citizens are mature enough to understand, the others will be like, no, this is dumb, we don't want to condone violence. Which is fair.
I think one of the things that make esports kind of difficult is you have. I think the good comparison would be football, right?
Yeah.
Football and cricket, right? No one owns football. No one owns cricket. Whereas in games like Valorant, CS, Call of Duty, it's owned by a company, which means whether they like it or not, they have influence over over tournaments, and their baseline isn't entertainment or world stage; it's profit.
Yeah. I mean, that does end up being the case for organizations like FIFA at the end of the day, but it's not supposed to be. Or conceptually, I get what you mean, though. Where one,
Exactly, like you can try as hard as you can for that not to be the point,
yeah,
but it's very hard. It's a very hard argument to make.
So what do you say? Like there should be a video game that isn't for money. Like there should be a video game that anyone can play at all times, just like cricket.
I'm sure there will be.
I think
Future.
yeah, I would like to see a future like that. But I think you do in the same way FIFA sort of governs how football works. You're still going to need a regulatory body that's outside of the development of the game.
Well, like,
Unfortunately, esports aren't stagnant. They always change.
L-
Like
l-
Valorant comes up
look-
with new maps, Call of Duty has new weapons. Like it's very hard to balance.
yeah.
Look, it's going to be really, really difficult for a game developer to create a game without any profits. It's so hard. It's so expensive to make a game, right?
Exactly.
No,
And
but
that's not gonna happen.
no, there is one way. Like, if you develop VR, right? Like all the dystopian movies I've seen with sports, they eventually get somewhat melded into esports because of their use of technology. So if you have FIFA and football suddenly merged together somehow because of the use of technology, then it's not exactly a game that needs to be developed. I'd say it's more like maybe we pick up a game and just like maybe we make rugby or kabaddi really fun because if VR introduced it to it. I don't know.
I think F1's quite a good example of that, isn't it? Because F1
Actually,
has
yeah.
ABS zones that automatically enable and don't enable, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. I think especially because F1 simulators are probably the best video game in terms of simulators. Like, pros could play the F1 game and call it like an actual simulator. So that makes sense. It's quite close already to the real deal. But okay, this is a nice question. Do you consider chess as an esports? It's played online.
No.
I
No.
mean, to be honest, chess is it's too simple and too complicated at the same time.
Okay.
But if it's happening online, it is esports, dude.
Is it though?
I-
Is it
I
just
don't-
a sport?
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. Like, you play cricket, right? You play FIFA, and then you play EA's FIFA version. That is esports. Then why chess is not esports when you play it online?
Because FIFA is a whole different game.
There's no change. There's no change in rule set or dynamic based on in person or online.
As in,
I think
But
for it to be an esport,
they
it has
want
to
it
be
to
in-
be they want it to be as close as reality to be. They just can't make it right now as that.
True,
But
true.
chess is like too similar. They can make it, so it's happening. Why is it not an esports then?
yeah, that's fair.
because I think an
actually.
esport has to be at least an esport based off a traditional sport is an adaptation. And then when you get into simulators, that's why Sim F1 leagues sort of pan into real leagues.
Sure.
And at what point does it stop becoming an esport and start becoming a sport? Because that's in discussion now, isn't it? For whether or not F1 drivers can compete in sim racing leagues.
Oh no, they're not allowed to
whereas
right
with-
now, right?
Exactly, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, it's being contested. Whereas with chess, you just have the same game. It's not any adaptation. It's no changes to it, and rightfully so. It's a good game. I recommend it. But
Look, the goal for a game like similar to a real sport is to be as exactly the same. They just can't make it like that. They want it to be. They just can't
No,
right
but-
now.
So Godspeed mentioned a cool point, right? He's like E-sports is what we're talking about basically, which is why chess is a electronic sports, but it's not esports. Or at least in the colloquial way we've come to understand it today. I guess then esports has to be owned by someone. It has to be a brand new game. It cannot
Yeah.
be an adaptation.
I've got a curveball to throw back at you guys.
Okay.
Do you want esports to be associated with normal sports?
No. Personally,
No,
no.
not really.
Yeah.
I mean, no. It is fun. Like, playing chess is fun sometimes. Playing real cricket is fun
Yeah.
as well. But I'll pick Valorant over that any single day.
I mean, that just speaks to our propensity for violence, no cap.
Maybe we are just biased creatures. Maybe other generation might pick something else. But right now, I feel esports and video games, we have a different connection.
Yeah, especially even
Yeah, I
FIFA,
agree.
right? I think it just has that history because it's one of the original video games, which is why it can be esports. Otherwise, I feel like most people would reject FIFA as well. Like, no, it's just sports. But yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I think as well, in having esports and normal sports separate, we can learn from the mistakes that actual sports have made.
Yeah.
For instance, the kind of rampant corruption in FIFA sort of showed us that you can't have hegemony of one TO over an entire esport, which emphasizes how important it is to have third party TOs and how it's important to have more than one organizer to keep the other ones in check. I think a good example, if you're sort of talking on the grander scale, is CS and Valorant. Like, CS could do whatever they want and they control the TAC FPS world.
Yeah.
Valorant comes out and now CS has to up their game. And so, you saw within like a couple of months of Valorant being released, CS were bringing out game patches, they were nerfing guns, they were brought out, I think Ancient came like relatively around the time of Valorant.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken there
Yeah.
though. It's they keep each other in line. And so I think that's a good thing to sort of keep in mind when it comes to the difference.
But
But for as the example of that world stage, like, if the government bodies are going to recognize a single game for something, I don't see them changing it every 4 years. I don't see them changing the game every 4 years. So the newer game might not be able to get into the contention straight away. It will take years and years because of politics and whatnot.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think. Well, I'm more curious about those slightly different. You mentioned that, like, I completely agree with the idea that one TO should not have hegemony. Don't you think that's where we're headed though with Valorant?
We are.
Franchisee will be run by 3 TOs internationally. VRLs will be respectively run by 1 TOs in every country. So third-party TOs
That
sort of
does mean though you have a separate TO in every country regardless though.
okay.
I think if we
Small
were sort
piece
of
of the
talking
pie.
local to India, yeah, local to India, the sort of battle between Nodwin, TC, and Sky,
Uh-huh.
and then I guess GXR, who also came in a bit later, was always quite fun to watch because it meant all of them pushed each other forward.
Yeah.
That now, rather than it being local to India, now it expands. So
Hmm.
who is it? Do we know? Has it been announced who's running the VRL? in
Yeah,
India?
Nodwin.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
Nodwin now, I think Elephant are doing the Filipino one. I have no clue. But
oh.
for example's sake, say Elephant are doing the one in the
Hmm.
Philippines. Nodwin now have to compete with Elephant,
Yeah,
and
for
so I
Ascension,
think
right?
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting to see how each TO keeps each other in check. Something I do really want to see happen in the Indian scene, on a side note, actually, is I would be overjoyed to see Sky and TC actually help out Nodwin.
Mhm.
In making the Indian scene as a entity grow rather than fighting for who gets that number one spot as a TO.
I
It's a
feel like
fight,
that
Kremer.
will
It's a
only happen
fight for their
publicly.
lives.
Never
I know,
behind the
I can
scenes.
dream, bro.
We all are dreamers, Kremer. We all are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but fair enough. I think he got off to a great start talking about esports, but we're here because we're all casters. So let's get back to what
hmm
we know best, I guess. We'll start off with a simple introduction. If you wants to start, go for it.
Hi
Go on,
guys,
Spiro, you go
myself
first. You're better than
Spiro.
me.
I'll start. I'll start. Hi guys, myself Spiro. I cast games. I say things, and they pay me.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I can follow that up. Hi, my name's Kremer. I shout at games and sometimes people listen.
Uh, hey, I'm C. I try to be smart about games sometimes and nobody listens.
I gave up about being smart at games ages ago, brother.
Yeah, I'm learning now. But okay, fair enough. I think Sparrow, you said you cast games, and of course you get paid for it. A really nice question that I can immediately continue with is someone asked,
Mhm.
"You've cast so many games. Which
Mhm.
one do you like the most? Is it BGMI?"
I mean, it's a difficult question to be honest here because I have casted like almost every single esports title there is in India,
Yeah.
but I feel that every game has a different set of challenges, and the best part about being a caster is that you have to learn every single game. You play it, you learn it, and then you get the ability to cast it. So
Yeah.
talking about favoritism, I think when you play a game for a longer period of time, like any game, you fall in love with that game, right? Games are wonderful. I'm a gamer at heart. Right now, I would say there is no BGMI. I'm focusing on Valorant as per se.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in love with Valorant. I'm playing a tournament of Valorant as a caster, and yeah, I love playing it as well.
Fair enough. Rama, what about you? I think you came from CS:GO, right? To a small extent.
Yeah, so my two big titles were CS and Valorant. Um, and my favorite, I say at the moment, it pretty much is guaranteed now. My favorite is Valorant,
Uh-huh.
purely because I think back to sort of the biggest tournaments I've done in CS, like 8-tier tournaments, um, and it felt like I was a caster, just like some dude to fill the space in the sheets, to just cast games. Whereas can you hear these planes going overhead, man? Jesus. But when I was doing Valorant, it felt it feels like they care a lot more in
Yeah.
Valorant. Like I think something that took me a moment, quite a while to adjust to actually was in CS you could sort of get away with anything. Like
Yeah.
unless you're like really being bad on broadcast, you can get away with it. Like you could turn these broadcasts into a podcast if you want. Whereas in Valorant, they care, they watch the products, and so it makes you a better caster as well. Sort of knowing that there's an overwatching eye, which I quite like actually. So I think just the way Riot are treating Valorant appeals to me a lot more.
Well, I agree with Kremer on that point, but one point I would like to add, like uh, in India, I feel the level of casting that BGMI reached in Hindi was something else. Like the level was different, and I'm a better caster because of BGMI, because of the competition there. The
Mhm.
competition was silly, it was crazy, it was real, and the quality was top notch when it was there.
Yeah, I can 100% agree to that. I think,
Mm.
well, obviously India is the best for Hindi, but like it came to the level where you can see how much the casters develop in a casting sense as well. But I think, Kremer, what you said for me applies to in Valorant because it's so damn fast. I just finished a BO5, a CSGO BO5, and it's just
Yep.
so much slower than Valorant, like altogether. And for me,
There's
like,
also a lot less to break down.
yeah, exactly. Like for me as an analytical color caster, I have to focus so much more on pure color rather than actually mixing it up with like analytical casting here and there, like explaining defaults and all that, because there's not much to really explain. It's always just standard defaults or set up your utility and hit. And tendencies are mostly expected, I guess, because of how many years the game has been played for, which is
Mm.
something I worry may happen with Valorant, but honestly, I come from League. So, yeah, with Riot,
yeah.
usually the worry is they'll complicate it too
And-
much, not less.
Yeah,
they will.
Riot to me seem a lot less scared of breaking in the meta
Yeah,
than Valve are.
yeah,
Which I think is kind of cool.
I mean, you just check the recent update. They changed the game completely.
yeah. You get used to this,
They
guys.
did.
This is how League is. Every few months, it's a new game. Like, completely. It's
Yeah.
never the same.
Like,
On that note, actually, do you see a future where there's like agent picks and bans in
Yes.
Valorant? Do you see that happening? Because it's not
sure.
really been done in Attack, yet, has it? But I guess it's been done in
There
League.
were a few
They do it,
NA
don't
tournaments
do it.
in the off-season that ran agent picks and bans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think by the end
Shit, I
of
should have known that.
I think by year 3 at max, we should have it in franchisee as well. By year 3 at max. I think maybe even at the end of like year 2 in the off season, we'll start having it a lot more. Obviously this year as well. But I think in franchisee, I'd be surprised if we don't have it by, if not year 3, at least year 4, surely, right? Like,
Hmm.
because
I'm sure it's gonna happen.
I think you need at least 35 agents to have
Yep.
pick and bans. The difference, I guess, would be is in League of Legends you have lock pick and bans. I don't know what the exact word is, but what I imagine is like if I pick something, you can't pick something. I don't think that'll be the case in Valorant. I think it'll be like both of us, like blind pick almost. Like you can pick and just universal bans maybe.
But I think it would happen. Like, surely, Valorant is putting up a lot of updates, a lot of work over it, and new agents are going to come. And there would be a certain time where there would be a lot of agents in the game, and I think that would be fun when you have to ban something. Maybe you can technically see what's your opponent best player is and what he plays on best, and you can
Yeah.
ban that. That would be fun.
Tesseract and your Sova.
No, but in that regard, I think they also have in the ban system they have something called a protecting thingy or whatever, where you can protect certain agents. So if you have a
Cool.
jet one trick pony, like sorry, you're
That's
not banning.
really cool.
Yeah.
So I guess what it would mean as well is if you're protecting an agent, you'd be revealing what your comp is in the process.
Yeah.
So you could like curveball protect. You could protect a neon on fracture. So it's not fracture anymore. But you hypothetically you could protect a neon on fracture to make it look like you're running a really fast double duelist comp and then fall back onto something else.
Yeah.
That would be cool as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me at least, that's one of the things I'm looking most forward to, because when you focus on League of Legends esports, in my opinion, at least 60% of the match is done in draft, where like the coaches are able to pick out certain agents. Yeah, so obviously it won't be the case in Valorant. Valorant has, which is why I guess I love it, has too much room to adapt. You can still do a lot more things. Yeah, draft's gonna be cool. How do you guys think
There's
is
still aim though.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think it'll be that heavily weighted. Like maybe 20-30% effect into the overall game, but at the end of the day, it's about in-game how you adapt, what angles you peek, what style you play, irrespective of which agents you have. But okay, back to the aspect of us casting. What do you think is something that really inspired you guys when you first started on? One of you can kick us off. Like, I'm asking inspiration as in not like a person or something, but more like when you were into video games, why casting? Why not playing or, I don't know, organizing or social media or something else?
You can go first,
Maybe,
Farah.
I don't know. I was never that great in a particular game. Like I started with BGMI, PUBG Mobile at that time. It's been like 3.5, 4 years. I was playing PUBG, and was trying to reach conquerors because I have a set mentality. If you're doing something, you have to be the best. Otherwise,
Point.
there's no like, point in playing that game. But randomly, I started casting. I was like, let's do that. I was enjoying myself watching people play. And there was only one goal to be the best, and I'm still trying to pursue that. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I like that.
I got into casting a very different way.
Okay.
I used to be a player. I wasn't particularly good, but I was playing on teams and stuff. And I hear quite a lot about how people talk about how toxic the Indian scene is. Um, Frankly, it isn't. Having come from the UK scene, and so I was sort of while I was still sort of thinking about what I wanted to do in college and stuff. I was playing for a CS team, and I essentially got bullied out of the team. Like I had the
Ooh.
worst year of my life on this team, where like everything was my fault, everything just sucked, and it got to the point where like I was like shaking before like proper like nerve shaking before matches, not because of the opponents, but because of my own teammates. And so sort of after being the punching bag for the team for like a year, I ended up leaving that, going, I can't fucking do this anymore, and went didn't really know what to do for a bit, and one of my close friends at the time said, hey, you're unemployed as fuck, so why don't you try and cast one of our games just for shits and gigs? Um, then cast one of their ESEA Open matches. It went surprisingly well. One thing led to another, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Except for the bullying part, that's not cool at all.
Nah, it's fucking what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, man. Like
Fair?
we got over it. I'm completely fine now. It's made me who I am.
Believe me, for a lot of players, having a toxic team just kills your career.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
absolutely,
does.
absolutely.
Like a lot of players I know have potential to be great in the game they play, but due to bad teammates and low self-esteem, confidence issues, they just don't make it. Like,
Uh,
Mm.
does that
but
apply to
yeah,
casters as well? Do you think there's
yeah,
Hell
potentially
yeah,
people out
it,
there?
yeah.
oh, bro,
So I have the
it does.
story of the first time I ever did a camera segment
Uh huh.
was it was very shortly after leaving this team. So my confidence was in the shitter, and I was live in about 5 minutes. And my producer said to me and my co-caster, "Yo, by the way, do you guys have cameras?" Um, I guess I had like this, like the Logitech like 10 quid cameras that
Uh
come
huh.
with just any piece,
720p.
any like peripheral. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had one of those,
Yeah.
so I slapped it on, and I realized I had used to have an alcohol collection, which I had up
Ah.
behind me, and they sort of said you can't display that much alcohol on camera. So I held essentially with a bunch of pegs and like hooks. I just got a black blanket and had it behind me, and so it looked like I was casting from like a Mordekaiser roles. And so I was,
Wait, you play League?
no, I don't. I played Dota, but
Okay.
I sort of I understand. Um, but that was my first time on camera, and that was the. I went back and looked at that VOD fairly recently, and I was like pale. I was like the beads of sweat were on my forehead. I remember I was sitting on my hands because of how much they were shaking. Before we went on camera. Luckily it was a short camera segment, but if we had to filter any tech pause at any point in that, I'd have burst into tears. Like that was rough.
What about you,
Hmm.
Sparrow? Have you ever faced camera shy moments in your starter
Uh,
paths?
no, no, nah, I was never camera shy. Look, see, you met me once. I don't know you realize or not. I'm a very
Yeah.
shy person. When you meet me in
I,
real
I
life,
wouldn't call
like
you
in
shy,
person,
introverted. Yeah.
believe me, I'm an introvert. I'm shy. I don't
Yeah.
talk with people. I just stay away. I just say hey, bye.
Fair.
That is the sort of person I'm not rude. It's just that I just can't communicate that well in front of people when they are in front of me. That's not the case when I'm on the stage though in live. I can do that, but it's just a normal conversation. How are you? That is a little awkward for me. But when I'm on camera, I'm not shy at all. Like I can do a lot of crazy stuff. I was a little shy when I started, of course, but the early jitters went away really soon.
Yeah. Fair enough. I
Mm.
think yeah, it's the same for me. I've been a public speaker my entire life, so camera shy wasn't a thing. But There were moments where,
Ah,
like
you're
Kremer,
both, you're
like you,
both so lucky.
I would like to ask a question. I mean,
yeah,
regarding this,
yeah.
camera shy, being not camera shy is a different thing. But every once or twice, like cast, you get bullied by someone. Like
Oh.
you don't look good. The chat goes like this. You don't look
Yeah.
good. What kind of hairstyle is that? Like oh, that voice sucks. I mean, how do you
Oh,
deal with
yo.
that? Like Alan,
So,
that happened to me like always. Fixes here as well.
What's up, Fixes?
so yeah, you answer it first, brother.
If Fixes is here, I think we'll just intro him and then ask him as well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hello, Fix.
Oh, by the way, hi Fixes. Oh, he'll come back. He'll come back.
Yeah.
He's a cool lad.
Anyways, yeah. So the funny thing for me, right, is like, we're a few months into my casting in India, at least. Oh, your Fixes.
Mhm.
Um.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, you got a new. Oh, this was the mic. This was the mic you were setting up for.
Yeah. Hey, hi Fixes. High five. Sure gang.
Sure, for life.
Well, I think you guys have not met each other. So Fixes, this is Kremer. Kremer, this is Fixes.
Likewise. I
Nice
mean,
to
I've
meet you,
been
Fixes.
following Kremer on Twitter, so I'm aware.
Ah, thank you, man. It's all shit posts at the moment though, because the World Cup's on. It's coming home.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
yo, Kremer.
Yeah.
I've like been a fan of England my entire life, and it's the same. It's the same freaking pain as being an Arsenal fan. Just, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I
It's-
think this could
we
be the
we
year.
didn't look good like in our group stage games. I hope we get better. But England have a habit of like performing downwards. Like the longer the
True,
tournament goes
true.
on, for the worse we end up being. So I'm not filled with hope.
So Fixes, what's up? How was the meeting? Don't tell us.
Yeah, the meeting was productive. Something really big is coming. Of
Can you
course.
reveal?
And
Like I want leaks.
no, there's a
Sad.
strict
Get ready to
confidentiality
farm for the
agreement, but I'm
presents,
gonna
brother.
say this out loud and clear. Like something really big is happening.
Nice.
Boy. And the question now,
You know, you know.
now the next question is, will I get a chance to cast it?
Ooh.
We'll find out.
Okay,
in the
let's
next
go
Toxic
back.
episode.
punch.
Let's go.
But yeah.
Let's go back to the topic. Yeah.
So
See, you were
Sparrow
saying
asked,
something. Yeah.
basically, Sparrow asked, what was that? Yeah, when people make comments about you, when they're toxic, basically, and you're on camera, how does it affect you? And I was saying the funny thing is, where everyone, like now recently, at least this few, like my family, basically, my fans that follow me or whatever, I don't like to call them fans, but I don't know how else to say it, is that they like my smile. They keep making memes about my smile with the emojis and shit. In the first few months, everyone would, for some reason, be like, "Hey, chutia waiter, hey, bota क्यों बन के रखा है? इतना smile क्यों कर रहा है? इतनी हंसी क्यों?" Okay, for Kremer to translate for you, that's like, why the fuck are you laughing so much, man? Why the fuck? What do you think this is the Colgate? And I'm just like, what? I'm having fun. Like, let me have fun, please. I like this.
How dare you have fun? Yeah.
Exactly. Thankfully,
Not allowed to
like
have
you said, there's good part of the Indian community as well. There are the toxic parts, but there is plenty of amazing people who caught up.
Are we discussing about toxicity?
Yeah.
No, Fixers, let me repeat the
Directed
question
to
for
you.
you. So I asked, like, when you started your career, maybe there were a lot of trolls in the chat who used to call you like something, like talking about your hairstyle, talking about how you look, talking about your voice, and all that kind of crazy shit. How do you deal
Yeah.
with that toxicity in the chat? That
I
was
mean,
my
why
question.
do you have to? I mean, first of all, like
When you're new, it really you see the chat,
initially,
right?
I had this very bad habit, when you're starting off, because I used to do customs and also I had to have this to and fro conversation with the chat. So that is when I was, actually looking at the chat.
Uh-huh.
And then, when I started working, I stopped looking at the chat, and
Yes.
that obviously helps you, right? I mean, in a game of Valorant, you can definitely not bother to look at the chat, what they're speaking and what they're saying. But when you're talking about, let's say, PUBG Mobile or maybe BGMI, yeah, that used to happen once in a while. But again, if it comes down to the simple fact that as long as your TO, as long as the client is happy with you, I really do not care about what the other person on the other side of the desk is saying about me. Because if I let them get under my skin, then I mean, why am I here? Simple. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
a simple fun. Like
Yeah.
nothing out of.
Kremer, what about you, bro?
That's probably that's the proper way to do it. I was quite lucky when I started out because I started out and instantly got some very good co-casters. I think I've been quite lucky with how talented my co-casters have been throughout my life, or throughout my career. So I've never really been on the end of some serious abuse. I have like one or two I remember, which was when I was really first starting out, and my my co-caster at the time, we both. Our way of getting over it was to, the second we're on a break, our mics are muted. We're 100% sure our mics are muted. We're like outside or something, and we would just insult that guy like top to bottom, the most piercing, like worst insults you could ever think of, like unrepeatable stuff, and then get back. That's completely fine. And then the other time I remember was doing a I think it may have been the Sky Sports
SES.
one. Yeah, SES. And at that point, I knew I wanted to cast in India. I knew I liked the Indian community, and I was being relatively active in the chat between games, just so I could like recognize names and know people. And so I had like, I don't want to say following. They're my bio. They're my brothers. So
Yeah, that's nice. I've never used that.
yeah, someone said something negative about me, and that dude got fucking mobbed by like the guys. I didn't need to say anything. That's awesome. So it's I've dodged that bullet quite luckily. But what the rule me and Pavlos now have is if the tournament's big, like APAC LCQ or like the GXR LAN, or what'll be like Red Bull in Brazil in a couple of days, you just don't read the chat until afterwards, and then even then you read it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I'm with Fixes on that, bro. I just cannot read chat. It distracts the fuck out of me, for starters. I cannot think when I'm reading chat ever. I end up focusing on the
I mean,
chat.
in Valorant, you can't. I mean, I
Even
can't.
other games.
I see it as a bit of a double-edged sword, because if you're having a good cast and you know you're having a good cast, you see in the chat everyone else enjoying it, it does hype you up a little bit. But it is a double-edged sword because it works the complete opposite way. Like, if you think you're having a rough time and the chat agrees with you, then it just demoralizes you to fuck. Like, it's a really, really big double-edged sword.
Don't you guys think it distracts you at all, though? Because I for the love of me, can't think of points.
No. It does distract you.
I'll tell you.
It
I'll
doesn't
tell you.
distract me.
So,
Every now and then the chat comes up with a really good point as well, which I
mean,
can repeat.
Yep.
Kremer people in India love you. That's lovely, but that's not for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
true.
like I'll talk about, let's say, our primary game, that is PUBG Mobile, right? When it was on its very peak. So you've got like 100k, 200k people watching. There'll be everybody, just hearts, love, and then there would be that one guy, that one creepy
Cockroach.
bugger. He's like, "Mother chod, kya chutiya hai tu?" And you just ignore everything, and that'll suddenly just catch your eye, and that kind of spoils your flow, and that annoys the shit out of you, and then you start questioning yourself, like, did I do something wrong? Did I say something that I shouldn't have spoken? And then that is where, like, that this is a personal experience, this is where my flow breaks, and then I was like, fuck them. And I mean, as long as my publishers, these guys are happy, go with it.
Like,
That has
I'll
been
say
my
one thing. Fixes and me are like similar in that regard, where there are like Fixes being humble. There are 200k people watching there, so 2 lakh people watching. If 10 of them is not liking you, that's not your problem, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
That really catches your attention, right? I mean, it has happened with a lot of other people also. Like, everybody would be, just appreciating. There'll be people chilling, and there would be those guys who want that attention, and they just drive it away. And that sort of, kind of was icky at the first, but now that, you're kind of seasoned, and I don't care anymore about that, to be honest.
But my question was, when you started, it must have affected you, because I see people say a lot of shit, and you convert that negativity into positivity, and you make yourself better. You grind harder and harder to make your casting better, so that people who criticize you won't get enough material to criticize you. But it happened in the start, but now if someone is criticizing you, take it in a good way, funny way, and be positive about it.
Honestly, I
There's a,
think we've really had good mentors. I mean, I personally had really good mentors to give me the proper guidance when I was just starting off. Initially, it was a little rough grind, but then, when you have people like Blair guiding you. You kind of follow the other big names in the industry. You kind of have that little sense of professionalism sort of getting instilled, and you know how to deal with things, and you know what really matters and what doesn't. And then at a point when you keep doing events like, right now, throw me anywhere, I'll just not make a mockery out of me. That I'm 100% sure, if I do not even know about the its and buts of the game. But that is what I'm trying to say. Like, initially it does at a certain point. I mean, it all comes down to how you take it, but then again, I think right now it's all cool.
There's a fun mini game you can play, which I recommend all casters try this.
Okay.
Is if you ever see someone being negative towards you, ask them why. Just
Just keep
them why.
asking them why.
Yeah, so sort of go, your casting's terrible.
I'm gonna
Why?
try that.
What can I do to change it? And usually they just don't have a reply.
Yeah.
Just being toxic for the sake of being toxic.
I'll tell you one thing about the mentality of people who wants to say something bad to you. They just want some attention. Like once you you must have had DMs in your Instagram or somewhere else. Like people are abusing you, and the moment you say okay or something nice, you don't abuse back, and they're like big fan something, and thank God you replied me. I'm pleased that you replied me. It happens. Like one moment ago you were abusing me, and the second moment you're saying you're my big fan. What is going on?
Yeah,
He wanted attention.
Bro, but that's so
it.
fucked up. Like, just say I want attention in the DM instead of saying I'm.
Then he won't
"Hey, fuck
reply,
you."
right?
No, I would more
won't
likely
reply.
reply. I'd be like, here,
Like,
take
To be
attention.
honest, as well,
I'm not
I'm
like-
more likely to respond to someone going, "Hey, I need some attention,"
Yeah.
than someone who just like abuses you.
No, literally, it happened to me a lot of times. But I love talking with people. There was a time when I used to reply every single one of my DMs, and there were some negative comments there as well. But after I reply them, the negativity goes away a lot of times.
But like, I think I faced this one very peculiar thing. Like, initially, or most of the time, right? My duo has been Ocean. So Ocean is usually the play-by-play, the hype guy, and I'm more of that, chilled out, subtle color caster guy. So eventually, people right here in India, they're not really subjected to the entire idea of the various types of casting, right? So Ocean goes, and they want me to be on that same rhythm, right? And then they're like, oh, goddamn, you are not having that energy like Ocean. I was like, it's not required. Like, no, you have to shout. I was like, no, I won't. No, you're a
You
bad
must
caster. I was like,
scream.
okay, fine. Yeah. I'm like, let him do his job. He's doing whatever he's supposed to. Let me do mine. And there were, few sensible people who literally started like, we need that energy. I was like, why do I need to have your constant attention while I'm casting? Like, do you want me
Yeah.
to be yelling at you like 30 minutes inside the game? And that you're seeking that person's attention, right? Something is happening when nothing is really happening, and you want me to yell at you, and that's the kind of a constructive criticism you're giving me. How do you expect me to buy that?
Absolutely, but Fixes, thanks to you, casters like you and Ocean and others, like people got to know about casting now. They know about what color casting is. A lot of people knows that, and
I don't know about a lot of
throughout
people.
the years.
Yeah, exactly.
I say they got educated. I say they got a lot of people got educated.
You know,
like
loves playing safe, like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are, so educated. They're getting
now they
there.
are.
And
Nah,
It
bro.
was not the case earlier.
you're
Now
the
they are.
patron, you're the, beacon of positivity all around. The hearts, those cupids flying in the background.
Unicorns and
You're such a
leprechauns,
sweet guy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think people are educated, honestly.
Yeah.
The people who knew always knew, in my opinion, because they followed international esports. And the people who don't, maybe like 10% of them. Yeah, sure, some converted.
But
Yeah, the number has gradually increased, but not
I
there.
would say that number is increasing day by day. It is happening.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Hopefully, at least, right? And yeah, anyways, let's move on from toxicity and let's come back to something more casting based, because I'd like to know for all of you. Let's start with Kremer. What was your biggest challenge when you first started casting? Like, I'll give you an example. It can be something as complicated as I don't know, analysis or voice modulation. It can be something as simple as I just didn't know how to talk for 40 minutes straight.
I had two big challenges. First one was being confident on camera.
Okay.
Like, I think my camera work still needs quite a bit of work, but it's definitely got better. But that's something I really struggled with at the start. And then I also I'm still working on this. it's kind of specific to me and Pavlos. But the way we manage our energy. So Pavlos, for instance, would I would set Pavlos up for the hype moment. Pavlos would have the hype moment, and then if it's a very good play, I would maintain that hype level rather than bringing it back down. And so I think knowing when to bring the hype back down is something that I'm still working on. It's hopefully something in Brazil, even though it's not with Pavlos, hopefully it's something I can show there. But it's taking quite a bit behind the scenes to get that right.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I think it's the idea of sort of managing the time during the cast where that time, like, it can't always be full energy. I used to go just one tone all the time when I first started. That was definitely an issue. But what about you,
Yeah.
Sparrow? What was the biggest challenge when you first started?
Oh, the biggest challenge was the competition, like to get to the main stage to show that you can do something at the higher level. Because I was doing PUBG Mobile, and there were so many great casters who were already there. So for the new guy to go do an official tournament was difficult. I would say it was really difficult because firstly, a lot of TOs have in-house casters. So for the freelancer to reach there, you need to be good, really good. They were like people like Fixes, Maisie, they were still there. They're doing their craft, Ocean Sharma, and a lot more, I would say, at that time. Krat was there. So it was really hard for me
That's
to
back.
reach there. Fixes back as well.
Yeah.
So it was really difficult. So I had to just grind, and wait for the opportunity to kick in. And once you get the opportunity, you make sure you don't do any mistakes. And if you don't do anything, you might get another chance. And that's how I did it. Like, it's just keep on grinding, don't give up.
Well, what about you, Fixes? I think I know for you, but tell us nevertheless.
Yeah, you were there throughout that entire, session. So I think it was the Valorant. I think the first VCC, I guess, learning Valorant, because we were doing 3 events, I guess,
Yeah.
per day.
Yeah.
We had
IEM,
CS:GO.
IEM,
Yeah, we were doing
Valorant,
IEM,
and
then Valorant, and there was some PUBG Mobile also involved.
I think
So
PMNC.
yeah, some sort of a PMNC or PMPC or something was there.
Yeah.
And then I also had to learn Valorant, and I did not know shit about it because it just came out of random. Like you have to do, and it's like in 3 or 4 days. And I was like, I'm gonna make a, I'm gonna make a Mickey out of myself. And then there was Crad, there was CA. We literally sat down till 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning, like watching those VODs. I started to learn those, how to read those maps, and eventually I kind of was messing up a little bit, but then eventually I kind of got the grasp of it. And the little validation I got from Blair, because I was like sort of asking Blair how's things in going. Have you? Was like I was primarily watching the Hindi cast. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay. So then he sat down with us, and then he gave me more pointers and all. I think that was the most challenging phase. CA was there through, like we were literally staying under one roof. So I remember those days, and it was the hustle phase. Like Spiro said again, like just adding up to it, making it to the big stage and all that. We all do have our sense, like certain insecurities, right? Like, are we gonna get the next gig? Is there somebody who's gonna just lowball and take that event away from me? And that's all gonna be there. And for that, all I have to answer, like, this was something that even Blay told me, like, just be fucking good. There's
Yeah.
no secondary choice. Like, if you are worth it, they're gonna take you. And that has sort of been that mantra that I've been just harnessing. Like, yeah, if I'm there, if I deserve it, I'll get it. Like, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after. Because even I got, like, Spiro and I almost started our journey together. Almost, like, I think a month or two later,
Few
Spiro
months
started.
difference.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Not a
watching
lot of,
you
yeah.
doing the Villager Esports, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
you
So
went on to Nordvan. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, there were circumstances and everything which I mean I can't discuss right now. But yeah, I think from where we come from, it was like it was that push that was needed. I got the platform and I did what I want to. I have my future plans set up. But yeah, I think it's been a good journey so far.
I think the biggest difference between Fixes and me was why I reached the big stage later in my career, because he got good guidance. Like he was telling
Yeah, I had
about
good.
Blay and
Yeah.
good mentors and all. Whereas I was learning by myself, learning by watching these guys cast. So it took a lot of time for me to reach at a certain stage to get better. Uh, I'm still learning from these guys. Like they're doing what they do, like literally really well. So yeah, it is still a climb for every one of us. Actually, Fixes being the methodical guy he is, he always loves to like analytically being correct. Uh, yeah, let's see how it goes. But yeah, that is a challenge for every one of us. It seems.
What about you, Kremer? Do you have any specific like mentors who you look up to or even help you out over the last year or so?
I think leg day was fucking incredible to work with. Like leg day really helped me. And what I think's what I think I've done quite well is all the co-casters I've had, in my opinion, have been better than me. So and I think it's similarly to how you guys sort of live together and you all sort of worked with each other. What me and Leg Day, me and Pavlos have done quite a lot is we would literally just cast just ourselves on Discord, record it, go back, say, all right, this is shit, this isn't shit, do this, don't do this. And I think for me and Leg Day, we did about 200 hours of just casting with each other on Discord before anyone saw us cast together. With Pavlos, it was a little bit less because we'd already cast with each other beforehand. But it was just fucking grinding offline. I think part of the appeal in having a good duo is having a duo which can critique you, and you can give critique back to them without ego getting in the way, which I think is so important.
I think honestly, for me at least, that's always been a massive issue in India. People don't take to critique very well. And at least the way I am, I would like to keep improving till you reach that big stage like you guys talk about. Because for me, the big stage, I assume, is the same for Kremer as well. It's something in franchisee, like in Riot.
Yeah.
Because coming from League, that's what I've always imagined.
I would give my leg right now.
Yeah. I think I'd give more than a leg, but yeah, fair. No, but exactly, right? I think in India, that's not the case. That Novin helped me with that. Like Fixes, Johnny, everyone, they're very professional, I'd say, and critique. They're good friends as well. So, but it's
think,
very uncommon in India.
I mean, this is again one of those other things that I've learned is you have to be your own critique. I felt that because at the end of the day, we're all. Yeah, I mean, of course, there would be people who kind of go out of the way and help you out. But at the end of the day, it's all about sort of reviewing your own demos. Thinking that I could have maybe used a better phrase over there. Maybe this is one of those fights that I kind of did not see in particular. Can do better. I think that is sort of what really helps you out. And then there was another challenge that I really faced, and I think you're quite aware of that. Being multilingual, right? So at Nordwin, there are events where, in the morning, you are doing an event that's in English. The next moment, you're doing another event that's in Hindi. And you get so fucked up because, you'd be, while you're doing English, it's fine. But the moment you shift to Hindi, then you have all those English words kind of coming right at your face. And
your brain is wired wrong. Like, literally.
Yeah, you kind of get wired wrong. And then I was like, no, this is not my problem. This is the TO's problem. This needs to be fixed. Fix it.
Yeah, so I was doing this tournament like BGIS, and one of the Hindi caster got ill, it seems. So I was doing English back then, and they wanted me to do 2 matches in English, 2 in Hindi, and then 1 again in English at the same day, same broadcast. And I did that. So yeah, I understand you Fixes completely the problems that you face. And I'm not an English caster anyways. I was just filling in. So yeah, it happened. But one question I would love to ask Fixes, like you talk it about a lot when we talk about casting in general, about having a duo to work with. Like as a freelancer, never actually had a duo that I worked with for a long time. Like you and Ocean did. I worked with Mayavi a lot when he used to cast. Recently, I was working with Maisie a little, but never had a permanent duo to cast every single event.
Yeah.
How important is that? Like to have a duo
very
to just,
important. I've never
I
had
think,
it, and I'd say very important.
So, I mean, I really feel that casters are always known by their duos, right?
Yeah.
You just cannot say there's just this one caster who's the best. I think it's always the duo that shines
Yeah.
because you kind of portray that picture the way you want it. You kind of understand that he's trying to give you a throw, and that is the point. You have to take it. You have to keep the same intensity. Maybe you sort of have to resonate with each other. And I think it's very important. That is something that a lot of Indian TOs do not really understand.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be fixed. Like you need to have a duo, right? And hopefully in future, like investments do come in, like people are willing to shell enough money to get good casters, maybe the duos together, so that you can put up a better show, right? Because what I really feel right now is the underlying problem. It's just about the TOs trying to get done with the events, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, just get done with it. As long as the watching comes, as long as G and VLT are playing, we have 20K watching, no matter whoever casts or doing anything. So I think this is one of those things that really needs to be fixed, and not just for them, even for us. That is where, if there's competition, if there is that turbulence, even as duos or even as individuals, we would be pushing each other, right? Because if we know that we are fucking up, we're not getting that next event, right? I would be putting in that extra +2 +3 effort, and that needs to all of that needs to be in cohesion with each other, which sadly is not happening. Hopefully happens in the
I
future.
actually want to mention that's something that Galaxy Racer did really well for their event. Because initially the only casters for the entire thing were going to be me and Asarai. And I think Asarai sort of said who he wanted to work with, and I said to the sort of the guys there, I work with this guy called Pavlos. Here's all of our work. Feel if you want him, awesome. If not, I completely understand. I'm still interested. But we'll work together, and I can guarantee you we'll be able to perform well together if you get the both of us. And they, in a heartbeat, took both of us, which I really, really admired them for.
It's a really good thing. But I'd like to add one more thing. I did the event as well, but it was not the case with Hindi, to be honest. Even though they did a really decent job there, Hindi happened all of a sudden. They were not planning to do Hindi, so it happened in 2 days. They had the LAN set up in 2 days, so
Really?
I didn't get the chance to get the casters that I would love to work with. But still, it was a decent experience, I would say.
I think one of the other problems, like now you mentioned about duos, is like I've really felt like, I wouldn't be, going out to the extent of taking names over here, but now casters have sort of made it a fact about, sort of trying to glorify themselves. That
Yep.
needs to just, be weeded out of the scene, because I have seen that happening. Like, it's all about, just going all out, not knowing what you're saying, not even relevant to what's happening inside the game. And, how do you say that? Like, it's about, oh, people will do, oh, this guy OP, this guy OP. And like, chill down. I mean, you're just randomly hyping shit for no particular reason. And then, that needs to stop, right? You need to stop glorifying yourself, rather focus on glorifying the game itself, or maybe the play that has happened. And I think that is something that a lot of casters really need to do, because honestly, TOs do not mind into saying that, but somebody needs to, right?
No one does, to be honest, Vixas. I've never seen anyone complaining from the TO standpoint. I've been there. I've seen casters who stole the limelight. Like, it's not about the limelight, it's about the game. When a person is speaking and something
Oh.
happened and other guys just start speaking over the, co-caster,
Yeah,
it
That's
happens a lot in India, to be honest.
I feel
I don't understand the mentality because I'm not a play-by-play as well. I'm more of a color who sometimes do play-by-play. So some co-casters just come in and they just start over when you are saying something, and you just keeps quiet. Like you just stay back and let them finish then. And then when again you start to speak and something happens again, they again start saying it over you. So it
I
happens
think
in India a
like
lot.
that's why duo is a key, because I remember especially Kremer in leg day, right? And this was the entire time. Fixes
Yeah,
knows, like I've been hunting for a duo basically my entire life, because as a color, you want a play-by-play who understands you. You want someone who sets you up for dead time.
Absolutely.
And I remember watching you guys, Kremer, with leg day especially, and you guys were clear cut. I think color and play by play defined. Like you weren't. Were you hybrid? Because the way.
No. So actually, you'll probably get quite annoyed at me if I say, but Leg Day doesn't understand Valorant at all. Frankly, like he categorically is the play-by-play, but he's so good at his job that no one knew. Like,
No, but I think
no one knew.
everyone loves the way I think Leg Day voice modulates. He's a voice actor too, so it makes sense. Like his ability to just sort of reel you in is great. But what I liked about you guys was the way he would set you off for color every single time. And I'm just like, one day I will have this. One day.
One fine day.
Yeah, because it's like Sparrow said, right? When it's the other guy is just like hype, like nothing, like it's only screaming. It's very hard to do anything else except be quiet. And as the color, actually, like there's this guy called Captain Flowers with this guy called Kobe in League of Legends in NA, one of my favorite casting duos. And it's like you said, Kremer, like when Flowers reaches this level of peak, Kobe's screaming with him, but he brings it down, and Flowers knows to carry on from down, not from up. Like you bring it down, you carry on from down, and that's so much smoother to my ear, at least. I assume the audience's ear as well, right?
There's a actually. No, go on, you first, right?
Kremer, you go on, mate.
So chivalrous.
Thank you very much. On the topic of sort of quickly, as we said it a while ago, on the topic of people we saw as mentors, there's a guy called Degon. He was at the LCQ as a host, and he is one of the most experienced guys I've ever spoke to.
Oh, Degon.
He was the one who was who pointed out sort of bringing up levels and stuff for me and Pavlos. So he's the one who sort of set that path to try and figure that out. So also big like recommendation to him. He was fucking awesome with that.
Yeah, I've seen Degon in League too, so I think he's been around the
Yeah,
industry
he mainly
for a while.
does League.
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely see that. I think when you have that play-by-play color, especially, it's important because when I look at people like Mitch and Tom, for example, or much more, I say like they have that camaraderie between them. You can afford to go hybrid, and it gets way more complicated there because everyone I've tried to do hybrid with, I feel like it's very hard to. It's that same levels problem where like you may be in the part where you are at your peak, and then the other person needs to sort of bring it down. But then they also pick it up even more peak, and it's like that limelight battle. Like both of you are screaming, you're like, they're just like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, it comes with practice, doesn't it? Like, it comes with practice.
Yeah, it comes with practice. But I would say I was lucky enough. So when I did my official tournaments in BGMI, I had some really good co-casters. In the Hindi desk, at least, there was no fight between us, me, Maisie, Anki, Ocean. We were all in sync, and that is why I was saying the level of casting that we did was really, really good. I was impressed about that. Fixes is laughing for some reason. I don't know. Actually, I know why he's laughing, but
I got stuck on the word Hindi, and I knew where he was trying to head on.
It was great. It was a great experience for me. I would say some younger casters are not able to understand what they have to do with their duos, but they would learn eventually. But I think it's the right time. If you want to improve, there is a respect that you have to give to your co-caster, and as a team, if you play better, if you cast better, it is going to be a good show.
Yeah,
I think like for freelance casters, it's very difficult to kind of have the duo. Like we just touched upon it on that very fact that a lot of TOs just kind of go for he's available or he's not, or maybe he's charging.
I'll tell you.
Extra.
Sorry, fixers. You know how freelance TOs usually work. If they have a certain amount of budget and one guy has a really high demand, they give it to him, and the second caster they get is like some new guy, some really new guy who does it for like almost free for pennies, and that's where they want that higher paid guy to carry the show. But it doesn't happen like that. They should understand that both of the people should have like decent knowledge, and at least they should be able to communicate with each other at a better pace, I would say.
Yeah, I mean 100% agreed with what you just said, right? Like said earlier that this is one of those things that a lot of the TOs need to really understand that, because if you have to put out a good show, because you have to have your voices, your storytellers to be in sync with each other, because if they aren't, then what's the point, right? Because even if you're that good, like let's say you are really good, but you just gonna, just potentially bring out your 40% with someone you're not really comfortable with. You do not know where to take your pauses. You do not know when the person is trying to give you a throw. You do not know, how he's gonna take it, how you're gonna transition that conversation. Because I face this issue, right? Where I kind of just give away the throw with maybe a question to kind of try to further indulge into that conversation, and I've been
Ignore.
shunned off,
Ignore.
ignored, like clearly ignored. I'm like, what the fuck? And so this is something that, when you know that you've got a duo with you that understands, where you are heading towards, it gets a lot more easier, and then you are able to give a good quality to that
Yeah.
entire show. And yeah, obviously, like whatever we've been discussing, that's there's that little word hope attached right next to it, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But yeah.
I guess the higher you progress, the better casters you make, the likelier it is, right? Like, I'm sure with any of you guys, it wouldn't be an issue. And just the question becomes, can, um, not just in the highest tier, but can it sort of trickle down to the tier 2, tier 3 scene where there are young casters? I think they are capable of doing it. It's just a matter of having the right mentors, which they might
Yeah.
not necessarily have, or the TO might not necessarily tell them that, and stuff like that. So, and it is what
I
it
think
is.
I think a lot of the young guns, the new casters, they're very afraid to reach out. I think this is one of those issues that I've faced. Like, because I'm pretty shameless, right? If I need to learn something from
Can
someone, I
vouch.
just straight on go and DM him or just message or call him. Like, I need help. If you're available, please. I mean, that I'd be grateful. But a lot of people are like, I think he might not reply. They do not take that first step, right? Now, I'm not gonna go out of hand and extend my arms like I want to make you better, right? If you need help,
Yeah.
come to me, right? And this is something that I have seen a lot of people not doing, and rather just kind of having that wrong guidance, right? You really need to be. I mean, you have to make your own introspections, understandable, but you need to reach out to nice people, talk to them, take feedbacks from people who care. And I think it's mostly like one of my clients, right, Karan Pathak from Crafton, he said a really
Mm-hmm.
lovely thing. Your shameless friends are your best critique. They're going to be honest, blunt, right at your face. And they won't lie. They won't sugarcoat like, oh, yeah, you're doing well. They'll tell you the reality as how they felt about it. And now there's another one of those issues that I've seen happening. Sometimes, people tend to get a lot more technical, a lot more analytical when, at the end of the day, we are entertainers, right? As being commentators, we just can't go very in depth about a certain thing, because when you're going really very in depth, it kind of becomes a podcast over there instead of a show. Because maybe 20 people, 25 people out of 100 are interested to know what you're gonna tell, like that extra thing. But most of them are here for the show, the masala, the kind of a spice that you add up, the hype that you're building up. So a lot of things are there, a lot of nuances. But yeah, even I am trying to learn all those things. But yeah, we
Yeah.
keep getting better.
Yeah, I think at the end of it all is just that improvement factor, right? So, I do want to ask all of you, do you remember your best cast ever? Not in terms of like what the audience said, or in terms of what your friends said, but like a cast after which you felt like, yeah, I love my fucking job. Yeah, that's all. Kremer, you can kick us off because I think yours is one that was quite recent.
So I've got two, which I was very very happy with.
Okay.
I think rank 2 was most of the GXR casts. I
Mhm.
think Heretics, Paper Rex, GXR finals with
Oh, I remember
Pavlos.
that. Yeah.
I was really happy with that. That's sort of rank 2. Rank 1 was the APAC LCQ finals, Onyx versus Boom, and that was in Project Striker in Dublin with the Riot guys. And so I think every caster has a notebook, right? Yeah, that's kind of a given at this
Yeah.
point. And in that notebook, some casters write, they write, "Hey, Boom like playing this map, or this is their veto pattern, or Coach Meow and Coach Ewok been against each other loads of times. Let's hype up this rivalry." But in my notebook, it's a little bit of that. It's also lines or words or kind of phrases
Yeah,
that I
we do
hear,
that
which I
too.
really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a good example, and this is one we were able to land in the LCQ Grand Finals, was it was like he sits atop a sanguine sodden throne, and it's like that was one. We hit about 20, all of them
Oh.
like fit perfectly. And at the end of that, yeah, I think it was best of 5. Went all. I think it was 4 maps, best of 5.
Yeah.
After map 4, me and Palos, we hugged quite a lot anyway. But we had like the hug that made the duo after that 4th map, and we came out at the end, and I'm telling you, boys, and this is a close secret between you, me, and however many viewers there are. I came like so close to crying my eyes out, like in the middle of the studio after that, because of how fucking well it went. Luckily, I looked over to Pavlos. He's the same, so we just didn't say anything to each other. Because if I'd said anything, he'd have cried, then I'd have cried, or vice versa. So we both literally just sat down in the middle of the studio. I was like, "Fuck, that was really good." I just sat in silence for like 10 minutes.
That sounds really wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have
that
those
sounds
moments, right? Yeah.
Okay, so Fixes, take us away. What is yours?
I think I had particularly 2 that I can remember because initial few years at Nordwin, I think I would want to forget how mentally tortured I felt casting so many games a day. But yeah, there were like 2 moments, like starting off with the World League, right? Orange Rock #2, and it was like the final game. It all came down. The stakes were really high because that sort of would have been the point where India really made a comeback into the world of esports, right? Because after the Forsaken incident, we were always looked down on, and then here comes a team, completely new, just in the World League, the Eastern Division. They're about to take down the biggest elephants, right? BTR, and that was one of those rivalries, and I still remember. That one map of Vikendi where kind of the players of OR sort of messed up, and there still was chance, but then they eventually just got taken down early on. But that was a wholesome moment. Like that was like that was the adrenaline that you live for. That was the moment that you've been waiting to cast, and that was something really priceless. Now the second one comes down to the first VCC finals, right? Eskerosi Ascent comeback.
Yeah.
And when I mean, of course, it was Ocean and I, and it was something really challenging for me also because that time the energy levels were on a whole different it was not stop. I think you guys were also there, and I it was so difficult to keep up because when Ocean goes like this, you have to at least keep it over here. There has to be somebody just trying to like calm down, Ocean. Like there has to be someone just pulling it off. But again, you could have sort of kind of channel energies, right? We were resonating, we were starting to feel each other, and yeah, those 2 casts I think have been the best so far for me.
Sparrow?
It's amazing. I mean, it's so hard like to pick one casting, but I won't pick something like amazing like Fixes. I don't think I have that with me, but I would say I did a random third party tournament, and I felt like I did well in that one. It was like APL Invitational something season 2 maybe. And the OR event, I think I casted with Ocean. I don't remember exactly, but these third party events were like the best for me, I would say. I created new names for players, and they are still going on. Like Goblin, Godlin. It's a catchphrase that's going on. I created that there in that tournament, and I'm so happy that I did. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
What about you, CA? Like you've been
I-
the one asking questions. Yeah.
I think I'm like Sparrow. I don't think I've had that moment like you or Kremer yet. Yeah, I
Still
don't think.
need that right duo, right?
Yes, I am still very much searching for some. It's not even like right duo. I wouldn't say the people I've done it with are bad or anything. It's just I need someone who understands me as a person. I've had people who understand me working in a company like you, but we never got to fucking work together. And that's a completely different story. But I think for me, it was mostly. It was this random streamer event I was doing. I had to wake up like 4 a.m. in the morning to do the event because I forgot to correctly like check the time zones. So actually I thought it would be 4 p.m. but it was 4 a.m. I was like, fuck, I can't like one day before tell them I'm out, right? So I woke up at 4 a.m. I did it, and after the BO3, even though it was just fun, I was just wide awake. I was like, holy shit, Coffee does not do this to me. Red Bull does not do this to me. Casting does this to me. This is why I fucking love my job. It was just like the energy that came in. It felt godlike almost. I don't know. But yeah, okay. Let's. I want to know more about you guys individually. So I know Kremer was about to take a job before like you landed all of the gigs around APAC and you got the love and you then decided full time to be a caster. But if you weren't a caster, what would you be, Kremer?
That's a really good question. So I was talking to a few people for a while, and it's definitely very different to esports. I would probably be in America working as an armorer, which is essentially someone who fixes guns.
Ooh.
If not an armorer, then I probably would either be doing work in logistics as a PMC, or something like that, in the defense industry, most likely.
Right, dangerous, Kremer. Well, fair
That doesn't
enough.
make me dangerous. I just want to see a fucking nerd, man.
Alright, guns are scary. Unless I'm holding them in Valorant, like guns are scary. But I do fantasize about going to a range and like trying them out. Sometime I've never done it. And it looks really cool. But what about you, Sparrow? If not for casting, what would you do?
Well, I'm too old, right? So I was already working before casting. I was working at my dad's firm. So I would be in corporate. I would be handling the business, maybe. Only son there. So yeah, I did that for 4 years. I would have been doing that still.
Fair. Do you think you would have enjoyed it?
Not really.
Okay, fair.
Look, I'm a believer that you have to do what you love. Otherwise, it's a waste of your life. You only live once, and if you do it right, once is enough. So I did what I love, and I'm here.
Fixes, what about
Not
you?
fair.
I think I know this. I know this. Yeah, of course I know this. Go ahead.
Pictures would have been a
Yeah.
lawyer or
Yeah.
a cook. Damn sure about that.
I mean, I still would love to be a cook someday. But yeah, I think.
Yo, will you
But
be
yeah,
my
it
cooking
had
duo?
to be
Let's cook together.
usually. Yeah,
He-
sure,
Yeah.
man.
he never
Don't-
invited me over to his place. Like
I mean, you never came. You were busy
when
on
he
Bumble, apparently,
did.
right? You were busy
Okay.
bumbling, so I
Right.
did not want to intervene in your personal space, Spiro. But next time
And
you come up, you and your wife,
yeah, we both will
welcome to
come.
my place. But yeah, I think it would have been mostly being a lawyer. But then again, I was too naive. I felt like too naive for litigation, to be honest, because uh, I realized initially in those early phases to sort of try and make money, you have to get a little crooked, right? And I just couldn't do that. And I felt like maybe this was not my calling. Then suddenly I wanted to become a professional player, and then I realized I'm too old for this. And again, when you're talking about a game like PUBG Mobile, where I think 60 to 70% of it depends on luck and 30% your hard work. I think that was too much, a bigger stake for me to try and risk it out being a professional player. I just randomly tried, just casting random custom like this. And then people apparently said, "Oh, your voice is nice. You should try this more." I was like, "Okay, let me try." And then eventually things followed. And yeah.
Okay.
But what about you, CA?
What would I be?
CA? CA.
No, not CA, but yeah, I would work
Alright.
in finance. Yeah, that's where I was. Wall Street. I guess I would be in Wall Street.
Wow.
Somewhere nearby. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't think I still do that. Like, as a part of my income, I still trade and all, but it's not the same.
Money.
Not nearly the same. Nah, only losing nearly recently. But anyways, what I do, like, so we're nearing the end of our session, right? And what I want to do is for anyone in the future, whoever puts on, because I know I have put on YouTube, Casters 101, 5 top tricks or whatever the heck. This might turn up. So for them, what I want to ask you guys is, like, look, we might make it to the stars the way we want to. We might not. But what's next? You can't cast your entire life, surely, right? Anyone, if you can start us off. What do you imagine for yourself next? You can even say if you can't imagine anything, that's okay. Just tell me whatever is on your mind.
I'd start there. So, the moment I left my dad's business, the moment I told myself that I won't think about future anymore,
Mhm.
because you have to be nuts to do this.
Fair.
Like me and Fixes, where we started, we were working for free for months and months, 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day. It's you need to be crazy to do something like this without any money,
Yeah.
and we still did it. So I told myself, I'm not thinking about future, I'm going to focus on the present, and I want to be the best at what I do. I want to be best at casting, then I will do something else. Uh,
Okay, we'll talk
so
to Sphero again in like 20 years.
yeah, so abhi to yaar, I'm just for working, like I want to be the best caster there is. I want to I just recently got married, so I want to earn some decent money so that my me
To
and
stay
my
in
wife can
Mumbai.
live will live in Mumbai. Fucking expensive. Sorry for bad words, but yeah,
It is.
that's it. I mean,
Oh,
I'm not
Shit,
looking
are we
Apologize.
not
forward to
meant to
the
swear on
future.
this?
Sorry?
Oh fuck! Are we not meant to swear on this?
No,
We
you,
are
you can
sorry.
swear as much as you want. Like, trust me.
You apologize. So cute.
No, no,
Yeah.
even when he was trying to
Nah,
say,
man.
even when he was trying to say that, oh fuck, he started like that. Like we are not supposed to do that. All right.
uh, no, yeah, no. You kids like, yeah, doesn't matter. In fact, I encourage it. I think it, at least for me, I'm a lot more comfortable when I'm swearing. I wish we could swear on
Yeah,
broadcast. It would be so
I
nice.
have
Like
that
Jesus fucking Christ for a hype play would be. I'm sorry, all Christians out there. I don't mean any. It's natural, you know. Anyways, Kremer Fixes. What about you guys? Do you know? Do you have something in mind for what's next after in esports even maybe?
I mean, I know what's next for
for
me.
like
Sure.
tips
Yeah,
to get into
Kramer, go on.
casting, or like your tips to
Yeah, like say in 10, 15 years, whatever. Like at some point you're gonna like, I'm too old to cast, right? Like, what do you think? Like a content creator, a coach, I don't know, a general manager in esports, or even outside esports altogether?
Oh,
Yeah. I imagine I can't even see myself next year, man. So like, I have no clue where I'm gonna be in 10.
I can
I
see you
think
next year.
best case scenario, which would be, hey, look, don't even fucking jinx it. Don't you let that sentence leave your mouth.
You know what I'm thinking, though.
The second you say it, it won't happen.
Okay, I'm not saying.
But I honestly, I would love to have a world where casting works out. I'm already sort of making enough to be happy, but I would like enough to make the people around me happy as well. And so if that means working more hours, sort of doing more gigs, then fine, we'll work more hours, do more gigs. I think something that isn't valued enough is, and I'm quite lucky to have learned this quite young. The strongest currency is time, and I think especially in the year I was sort of year and a half, I was grinding to fuck to try and be a better caster. I missed a lot from both friends and family, relatives.
Oh.
So I would like to hopefully in the sort of coming years, if I have the income to allow it, I would like to be able to sort of experience life with them.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. Just one small thing. It's something I've grown to appreciate over the last 8 months or so. As soon as I got some time for myself, it's worth it, man. I used to be the guy saying you need to sacrifice everything, you need to do this, do that to reach your goals. You still can. Nothing wrong with that part if you choose it. But having people with you, your family, your partner, whoever it is, to help you on the way, just
Yeah.
I don't know, it motivates at least me on a different level. And I'm sure Sparrow knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When are you getting married, here?
There's a
So-
great quote which is no man is an island, right? It doesn't matter what you're not going to be able to do it alone.
Yeah.
Like you think of any job on the planet, any like role in the planet, you're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
And casting's no different.
Fair enough. Fixes, what about you? Do you have something in mind?
I think before
Yeah, I think-
Fixes goes, I think we had a discussion like this on a fine night in
Fine
some.
night, yeah, I think.
Like, it was a fine night. It was a terrace, I think, and we talked about it. Fixes. You can go now.
Over some, nice cocktails.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me right now, the short-term goal is I'm gonna be going freelance.
Oh.
I'm gonna be leaving Nordwin. So
Yo!
right now, I mean, yeah. So I mean, it's quite
Hey,
understandable, right?
congrats, man.
Wait. I'm sorry. Are you serious?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
I
I'll
mean,
call you
I think
after the podcast.
it's been
I
like 3 years for me, and I think I really need to venture out a little bit
uh-huh.
because for what I could have learned from over here, I think I'm done, and I think I want to just take that big step in my life, right? Just go out on my own.
So
Because
fixes.
honestly, sometimes you get that comfortable space, you don't have
Yeah.
that kick within you, kind of that motivation, that driving factor sort of gets a little hazy, and that's what I like. Live or fall, man. I mean, I've done that once, and this time, initially when I was freelance, I did not know who to reach out. Who were the ones pulling out the strings, and
Uh-huh.
so now I come with a lot of experience. Now, when I go out, I know how the industry works. It's of course going to be challenging, and I'm aware of that. But likewise, it's going to be exciting, a new adventure, I must say, perhaps. But that's there. But when you're talking about the long-term goals, like Kremer said, I completely agree, man. I cannot recall how many weddings of my very close friends I've missed because
Yeah.
I had an event and
Mm-hmm.
I could not really get there, and you really feel worse because what are you earning money for? I mean, if
Yeah.
you can't be there on your family special occasions and everything, and
Yeah.
initially in those early days of hustle, you'll feel like yeah, maybe someday it's gonna pay off. But yeah,
Next time.
I think eventually for me right now, it's just about keeping your parents happy. They are all that matter to me right now in the world, and I think eventually settling down in my hometown, opening up a small little quaint business, and just running
Ooh.
through it, doing what you love. But I think for the next 5-10 years, I really want to be still associated with esports primarily, maybe working for some client or on maybe a managerial position,
Yeah.
looking over things, trying to make the scene a little better. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Believe me, Fixes, we need people like you to make the scene better because I still feel that not only casting, even the gamers and the players, uh, there is a need for better environment for people
Yeah, exactly.
to play, to cast, to learn, to adapt, to evolve, and all these things. So I think people like you are needed in this community. By the way, see, I have to leave. My
Yeah,
wife
yeah,
is
go for it,
waiting
go
for
for it,
me
go
in the
for it. I'm
kitchen.
just about
We have to cook
IRL stream.
some food.
What are you cooking tonight?
I think she is, and we
Are
are
you going to
making
be
some pizza. And
streaming?
yeah, I'm going to stream the pizza stream.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I will come watch this. Be sick. Alright, chalo.
Right, thank you so much,
See
CA,
ya.
for
Thank
having
you
me.
for
Thank you, Fixer.
coming.
Thank you, Kremer.
Love you,
But I
Stu.
would say,
See you in
like,
the
I
light.
want
Thank you, brother.
esports to grow. I want esports to grow and reach a massive level. Right now, I feel that the freelance market is stagnant in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that it would change for better. So, thank you, CA. I'll see you. Peace.
Yes, I'll see you, chalo. See ya. Yeah, I was gonna end anyways. Thank you, all of you. Fixes, I'm gonna call you. uh, Kramer, thank you so much for
All right.
coming. I think ever since you first messaged me,
No worries, man. It was a pleasure to be here.
do you remember, by the way, our
Likewise,
first
Prem.
interaction during VCC2? I think it was early January. Yeah, you're trying to get in touch with certain people. And yeah,
Yeah, I was trying to get. I think it was. Was it Nodwin I was trying to get in
yeah,
touch
yeah,
with?
yeah,
Was he Nodwin or Sky?
yeah. It was
Yeah.
Norman. It was Norman.
Actually,
Yeah.
on that note, this is a quick pointer to sort of the open.
Okay.
A really good way to tell if actually, no, we'll rephrase this. If you're trying to like learn as a caster, or if you want to get into casting, every caster I've spoke to, from America to Europe to Asia, even like casters in South Korea already, you can approach them and just ask them questions. Like we don't
Mhm.
bite.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people get sort of scared off by the fact that holy shit, this Fixus guy, he cast this GMI tournament. There's no way he'll talk to the likes of puny me. The reality is, yeah, we do. We do. Well, maybe not
Nah.
Fix this because he's super talented, but I will. Yeah.
Fixes does that. I think I agree. The
everyone's very
point is we're
approachable.
humans, right? We're just normal people, guys. We're just like you. Just like you.
Exactly.
We just yap for money.
Exactly.
That's all. Like no difference. Nothing else.
Mula.
Yeah. And to be honest, like yeah, I don't agree with that whole philosophy. Don't send slurs to me, I will not reply. I literally reply to everybody else. But if you say motherfucker, you dumb mother, stupid bitch ass hoe in my DMs, I'm just gonna delete. Like ignore. I cannot be asked.
There is actually something I wasn't planning on announcing it, but I thought, you know what, this
Is
is
it about
quite
the
a good
next weekend?
podcast. No, I wish. But that's already announced. I think. I hope.
Oh,
I think.
Nice.
This is something else though, which is it's I know you asked me to sort of do it privately, but I'll do it publicly. See ya. Which is to thank you for the riot gun buddy you gave me. I know you've only got about 20 left, so if any of the viewers do want those riot gun buddies, see as the guy to go to. He's been absolutely incredible, just handing them out like they're nothing.
Why? Why would you do that
Thank you very
to me? Okay, guys.
I still don't have a riot buddy. See.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Like, hello, I don't have a riot gun buddy. How am I giving away riot gun buddies?
It's because you've been giving them all away. You need to hold on to them, man.
Oh my god. Now, at least personally, I made like I don't know how to say this. I think I made a promise to myself I would reach a certain rank before I asked for a gun buddy. I haven't reached that rank yet, unfortunately, so I'm not gonna ask.
Oh, we gotta ask for that.
No, you're not gonna ask me what my rank is. No.
No. I mean, I know you're added in my friend list, but
Oh,
I mean,
fuck.
are you gonna ask for a riot buddy, or are you just given like take the riot buddy, bitch?
Well, I think you have to ask for it because only riot employees can give it.
Entirely depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, so I don't want to say this in a weird way, which sounds wrong in public, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. You gotta know people, bro. It's as simple as that.
I thought you knew people.
No, I'm noob. Who's people? What is people? I don't know what.
I got mine from bribes, so if you try that,
No, Kremer is a snake oil salesman, chat. Don't believe Kremer. Don't harass poor Bryce. Don't harass poor me. Go harass Sukuma. He's a riot employee. He can give you a gun buddy for sure. Go harass Sukuma or maybe I don't know. Anyone in riot SC like Keys. You can harass Keys. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna go head to dinner myself, but yeah, I'll see you guys around. I'll see you for sure. And Kremer, let me know. I know what's up with you next year. As soon as you get confirmed for it, let me know.
I've not heard anything. So the second I do hear something, it's gonna be you'll be the first one to know. So yeah, probably in what will be a long
I
string
believe.
of,
If you don't get it, I don't know
messages.
what the fuck they're trying to do. So I believe. It's as simple as that. But yeah.
Even if I don't get it, I'm just gonna grind Essential League till I do. Like that's whatever.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, guys, you can do exclamation guest actually here. I'll just do exclamation guest in the chat and go follow all these lovely people across their social media. Twitter is best in my opinion because we get to chat shit and it's really fun. But yeah, if you want, they're similarly there on Instagram as well. You can find them there, and that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you, Fixes. Thank you, Kremer. Thank you,
Cheers.
Sparrow. Thank you, chat. And bye.
No worries.